What up? What up? What up? What's going on, everybody? So I don't think David Stearns really wants to bring Peter Alonso back. That is my opinion. What are you talking about, Hector? I'll let you know. Hang out and we'll get into it a little bit. But don't forget, hit that thumbs up button, hit that share button, and help a brother out. We'll be right back with what I mean that David Stearns has no interest in bringing back Peter Alonso. We'll be back.
We putting work, turning nothing into something. They feelings hurt, we turning nothing into something. Give a fuck if they don't like me, cause all this bread I count excites me. Turning nothing into something, nothing into something. Turning nothing into something.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, what am I talking about? Well, honestly, listen, if we go back and how much are we going to talk about this Peter Alonso situation? But if we go back and we think about what's gone on, we go back to 2022, I believe it was, where he was supposedly offered a deal during the season by 2023, I'm sorry, by Billy Epler and that front office, right? Peter Alonso rejects the deal, fires his agent, goes and gets Scott Boris. And people are killing Peter Alonso for that. And I've said it over and over. I don't blame him for that. He bet on himself like many ball players do. Peter Alonso's problem was he didn't perform like he should have to be able to push the Mets' hands. But what happens with the Mets? The Mets go out there and change front offices, and now David Stearns is in charge of as president of baseball operation. So when we talk about, well, the Mets offered him, uh, you know, a contract and he rejected it. Okay, they did, but again, that was the prior front office. Has David Stearns really offered Pete Alonso a fair contract, ladies and gentlemen? Let's really talk about this. Has David Stearns really offered Pete Alonso a fair contract? I haven't heard any numbers. Now we talk about how this front office, this ownership, for the most part, works in secrecy, and these kind of things aren't let out. But come on, guys, we know had there been an offer of any kind, Scott Boris, if he really didn't like that offer and this was still going on, would have leaked that offer already to John Heyman, to whoever the hell you want to say, and we would have known some kind of numbers. Yet the only offer that's been talked about, the only offer that's been leaked, is the 3 years, $90 million offer that we recently have heard about. That may have not been made. Is that really a fair offer for Peter Alonso? Is that an offer that Peter Alonso is supposed to jump at, like some people are saying? And listen, I know I've been extremely critical of Peter Alonso, right? Peter Alonso is a player that has many flaws. And like I said, to top it off, he came into 2024 in a proving year and did not prove it. Now, did he have the worst year ever? No. He had a pretty damn good year. We want to act like, the guy went from 40 home run, 35 home run, whatever that his average may be, to hitting maybe 20 home runs or so. And that's not the case. He hit 34 home run. Still drove in, I forget, 80 plus RBI, 90 plus RBI. Let's see if I can find it here real quick. Whatever the heck it was. 2024, 88 RBI, 34 home run. Batting average, yeah, 240, but it was up from what it was before. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we know Peter Alonso's biggest problem has been the last couple of years, like it was for a lot of this team, situational hitting. I think he can get better at that. I don't think Peter Alonso has lost power. I haven't really looked at numbers, whether his swing has gotten slower or anything like that. I've heard talk that he didn't chase as much as he did the prior year. Yet, and still, we know that he chases that slider down in the way a little bit too much. That's stuff that you can work on. Like, you want to tell me, well, Peter Alonso's 30 years old. How much better can he get? Or that's what he is already, and it's only downhill from there. I understand, but I really I want to talk about this contract situation and the fact that I just don't think that David Stearns really wants him here. And you hear many people, and you've heard it many times, say Peter Alonso is not David Stearns' kind of ball player. So then why would it surprise you that David Stearns wouldn't want Peter Alonso back? Oh, well, David Stearns has said in press conferences, yeah, we love Peter Alonso. We would love to have him back. Well, that's lip service. They all say that. They all say that. But again, has there been any offers? We haven't heard anything except for the 3 years, 90 million. So let's say that Peter Alonso really was offered a 7 year, $158 million deal in 2023. He rejects it, plays 1 year of arbitration on what was it? The 20.5, I believe he got. Right? I believe he got 20.5 last year in his walk year. So he played that up. You can't give Pete the difference. You were willing to sign him for 7 years. Now you can't give him 6. If, as we heard, Peter Alonso is looking for a 6-year deal, you can't give him that. Okay, 6 is too much. And even for me, I'll be honest, ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't want to give him 6 years, but I don't think it's the end of the world. So you have Peter Alonso signed till he's 35 years old. Do we really think Peter's done that now? Pete can't give us another good 3-4 years. But again, you don't want to give him 6. You can't give him 5. Maybe with a little bit higher AAV than the 22.5 that 7-year deal involved, which obviously is going to have to be a little bit higher. But how much higher, right? And again, this is not all on David Stearns and the Mets. Peter Alonso, like I said in my last live show on Tuesday night, go check that out, also needs to look in the mirror and say, listen, Scott, we tried, but I didn't have the year that I needed to have. But I really want to be here. And maybe that's not the case. Maybe Pete is so hurt now that either he gets exactly what he wants from the Mets or he will go somewhere else and take less and try to prove it somewhere else. Maybe he goes somewhere else and takes that 3-year deal for $90 million with an opt-out. Or maybe he goes somewhere else and signs for 5 years with a couple of opt-in years or whatever the hell that works. Some vesting options or whatever, where the deal can continue for a year or two. Or maybe it's a 5-year deal with an opt-out after 2. But can we really knock Pete for not wanting to sign a 3-year deal? Maybe even a 4-year deal, which would be ideal in my opinion. But look at what's going on with him now. All these guys want stability. All these guys want to get paid. It's not just Pete Alonso. They all want to get paid. So why would Pete Alonso be, okay, yeah, I'm going to take a 3-year deal with an opt-out and go through this again in another year where I may or may not have a great year? If I have another average year like I had in 2024, which is pretty damn good for most guys, am I going to be able to go out there and get a contract next year? Where Peter Alonso looks around and says, man, you guys just gave away an $800 million deal. You guys gave my buddy Brandon Nimmo almost damn near $200 million. Francisco Lindor got 340. Edwin Diaz got whatever the hell he got. What was it, 110, whatever? I forget. And I got to take the most team-friendly deal? And that's what I don't get from fans. Why the hell are we worried about how much money Peter Alonso gets? If the Mets came out right now and said, we've come to terms on a deal with Peter Alonso for 5 years, $135 million, and you throw in there some signing bonus, whatever the hell it is, with an AAV of $27 million. What the hell does it matter at this point? Or do you guys also not want Peter Alonso the same way that I believe David Stearns doesn't want Peter Alonso? I honestly think the only way Peter Alonso comes back at this point is if he takes control of the situation and tells Scott Boras, hey, listen, Scott, like I said earlier, we tried. I didn't necessarily hold up my end of the bargain. This is where I want to be. Get Steve Cohen on the phone. I want to talk to Steve. Ask Steve if I can have a meeting with Steve, which is another thing. We've seen all these players meet with Steve. Why doesn't Pete Alonso get a meeting with Steve? When are we going to hear that Steve Cohen wanted to have a meeting with Pete Alonso to gauge his real interest in staying a New York Met and where he's really at? Maybe that's what needs to happen. Or maybe Steve Cohen also doesn't want to extend himself for Pete Alonso and is taking the advice in this case, and only in this case, of David Stearns. Because he sure as hell didn't do it with Juan Soto. I don't care what anybody says. There's no way in hell David Stearns wanted to sign that deal with Juan Soto. I believe that. But more importantly, I believe that David Stearns will bring Pete Alonso back, but only and only absolutely on his terms. And I think there's a problem there with that. Many of you guys may not, but I do. We'll see what happens. Usually when I put my face out here like this and say these nonsense, the stuff like this, or not usually, but quite often, they make me look bad. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? In this case, like I say a lot of times, I want to look bad. I want to be wrong. Prove me wrong, David Stearns. Prove me wrong. And offer Pete Alonso a 4 or 5 year deal. And let me see him turn that down. Not another prove it deal. Not a 3 year with an opt out. You're our guy. We want you to play the entirety of your career here. Here's your deal. And then we can really turn on Pete Alonso. And again, for those that have sometimes a problem understanding, I am not blaming the Mets on this. There's blame to go on both sides. If you want to put blame, it's not blame. It's a negotiation. I'm just giving what I feel of what I'm getting from the situation. And it's that David Stearns doesn't necessarily want to bring this guy back. We'll see what happens. Have a good day, everybody. And as always, let's go Mets.
Click full of animals and we made ourselves with minimal. Fuck you, no subliminals. Putting in this work, nigga. That's why they feelings hurt, nigga. Swear we need a hearse cause we rep our shites to the dirt, nigga. If I'm in the club, I'm